Hey everybody, my name is Tori Hartman, and I'm sure some of you will either know me or look up my channel or my work if you so choose. I want to weigh in on the Chris Watts and Nicole Atkinson and Shannan Watts, Bella, Cece. All of this, I have to be honest and say to you that I'm really, every night I've been watching something about this, and so many great videos are out there, so much love, and sometimes goofy stuff. You know, you've always got trolls, but I want to talk about Shannan, and I want to talk about her best friend, Nicole Atkinson. And I don't believe that Nicole has really gotten the level of acknowledgement that, and also a shout out to the immense pain she must be in having discovered what she discovered. Because one of the things that is very powerful here and a lot of people miss is this friendship between these two women. And, you know, for all the stuff that Chris's family's been saying about Shannan, and yeah, she's bossy. I mean, I'm bossy too, okay? So we all have our stuff. But you know what? She's also someone who would go to the mat for you. You can tell by the way her friends love her. She was very involved in people's lives. She really loved her children. And I'm getting truth bumps as I say this to you. Every night since it happened, pretty much, I have been watching different videos and watching the confession and different things that Chris Watts said and did. Hello, felony dumb. It has boggled the mind, and I think it has captured a lot of people. And one of the reasons it has, and I think this is really the scary part, is that none of us really, I mean, and yes, I'm intuitive and psychic and all that, but none of us can really know what's going on in the mind of someone like, you know, Chris Watts, because we have to look at the difference between psychopath and sociopath. You know, a psychopath is born and a sociopath is made. And sometimes the perfect storm can come together to create a sociopath. But let's talk about Nicole, and I want to talk about her role in foiling Chris getting away with this. And a lot of people say, you know, they kind of fluff it off, and I know they thank law enforcement, and I really was watching these men who are really incredible guys, and I'm watching this and I'm thinking, where's the shout out to Nicole? Where's Nicole's wow? Because she knew something was wrong. This is a woman who knew her best friend like the back of her hand. She knew this woman was pregnant. I'm talking about Shannan. She knew that she loved her kids. She knew that something was up. And when she got to that house and she busted Chris, she really did, because you know that what he did was so, yes, it was premeditated, by the way. It had to be, because he had started talking about where he was going to go to Survey 319 on Friday with people. And so, you know, you don't just do that kind of crime unless you kind of know where you're taking them. And also he knew where he was taking them. You know, he told somebody at work he was going to Survey 319. And then when he went to the birthday party on Sunday that he took Bella and Cece to, he knew, because he said to the guy there that he worked with, oh, I'm going to be going over to Survey 319 in the morning. And it's like, you know, he was thinking, setting up my alibi. But you know what? This is the thing about deep narcissists. They don't understand how they're not thinking all the circle around, okay? They're not thinking like the 360. He's not looking over here and thinking how people are smarter than him. The problem with a narcissist is they think they're the smartest person in the room, as it's been said already. But I think that when we go back to what Nicole Atkinson did, and I just want to say, God bless her. And I really want to send her some wonderful energy and prayers, because I can't imagine what it would be like to find out and know that your best friend's husband has done something to her. And you could see it when Nicole was in the house. You could see she was not going to go away. And all this crap that Chris was saying, I mean, you have to know when you are watching it and you're going, he's going, yeah, Nicole called me and I told her I'm on my way. that's not what happened according to what I read and what I was seeing. It was like Nicole was going, I'm not going anywhere. She called him and he said, oh, it's fine. Then she went to the doctor's office where Shannan was supposed to be having her appointment, and she knew. Nicole knew, and so did the son. You know, this is the thing. Her son, she brought her son along, and that was the smartest thing she could have done, because that boy, and I'm getting truth bumps, God bless him, because he was supporting his mom and his mom's best friend. And that's an example of a young man that's going to grow up right. Because she was not going to, Nicole was not going to let Chris get away with anything. I mean, obviously her heart was, I need to find Shannan, right? And I want to say this, how much Shannan was loved. And I know, look, you know, I do stuff online. I do business online too. And I know what it's like when you're trying to sell stuff, and it can feel like to others how disingenuous it is. But I also want to say that something, and I think this is a mistake that I see a lot of women make, we endow people, you know, we give people these qualities that they may not deserve. And, you know, I felt that the most, if I had to say something about what I witnessed with Shannan, was that she was giving this guy kudos for like breathing. I mean, yes, okay, I get that he did a lot of stuff in the house, but I mean, she was like running the business for herself and him. She was doing all of that. Plus she was with the babies. I mean, you know, that's a full-time job and a full-time job. So, you know, I think that we have to look at, you know, sometimes, and I feel that she knew at some level that he wasn't quite good enough. And you know something, and I know that sounds really harsh to say, so bear with me. When I say that, you know, she was a go-getter. This is a woman that was, I think she was a Capricorn. I mean, this is a woman that was like, I've got an intention, I'm doing it. You know, she was out there, she was gregarious. And suddenly when Chris started stepping into his own, it was like, oh, I don't need you anymore. And, you know, I think that's the worst kind of person, is that, you know, you help them find themselves, and then they're like, you know, there's no loyalty there. But when we talk about loyalty and steering the ship back to loyalty, I'm going to talk also about, and I know I'm jumping around a little, but I also want to talk about Chris's mom, because I picked up some things with her as well. And one of the things that really struck me about Nicole is that she didn't leave. You know, that's a friend who stayed there. She stayed until she knew that the cops had the ball. Like, she was not going to let that ball drop. She was not going to miss a play. Her son found Nicole's phone stuffed in the couch. Now, what do you think? You know, Mr. Chris Watts, what do you freaking think? He was thinking, so stupid. He was thinking he'd dump these bodies, you know, do his thing, and then get home, get rid of her purse, get rid of her phone. You know, these are things that, you know, nobody who thought they were going to get caught would have creeping around, because that Nicole foiled his plot. And, you know, I have to tell you, like, today was like the day that I went, oh my gosh, I have to speak up about this friendship between these two women and really send love and just that understanding to Nicole of, like, not only did Nicole have to stand there and bust this guy, but she lost someone she loved very much. And I've got to tell you, friendship, for those who don't know, for the guys out there, friendship between women is like, it's sacred. I mean, we are so powerful for each other. When we have a friend, it's like, there could be snakes, fire, earthquakes. When that friend needs us, we go. And, you know, guys form friendships by doing things together. Women form friendships by sharing things. And so Nicole knew a lot about Shannan. And, you know, to her credit, she's not out there talking about it. But, you know, also, you know, I just want to say she's probably in mourning. I mean, can you imagine, I'm just going to move this for a second. Can you imagine the shock you'd be in? Think about this for a minute. Can you imagine that your best friend, whoever it is, male, female, whatever, right? Your best friend's husband, okay, is up to something and your best friend has told you, you know, I guarantee that these women talked about this more than what we heard about. And I guarantee that Nicole was kind of like trying to have Shannan's back and get her out of there. Because Shannan did say, I don't feel safe with him. You know, she knew. But the one thing that I think Shannan had that she didn't count on not mattering to him was the children. See, I think that even though Shannan said, I don't feel safe, she did not think he would hurt the children. And you know, something I want to say, and this brings up all of this, because I went through similar stuff, and so I'm relating to it on a certain level, and I don't want to talk about it because I know, you know, there's issues out there. But I will talk about this. What I want to say is that when a man starts doing more of what Chris was doing, you know, pulling away, I don't know why, trying to make up excuses, Shannan knew intuitively that this man was having an affair. She said it. She knew he was having an affair. He was so immature that he could not handle, and he even said it when he went back to visit his folks. If you remember in the conversation, and I think it's between Chris and his dad, there was a conversation in there where the father said, now this is where Ronnie said to Chris, and I don't remember if it was in the interview with him or later or the private interview with Chris, with Ronnie, that you couldn't understand because the guy was unintelligible. I mean, it was just so hard to hear that. But he said to Chris, well, you know, it'll be 3 kids to pay for. Like there was something in there implied of, and so that started Chris's wheels turning. You know, this is a guy who was making $60,000 at Anadarko, and she was making about 60. I mean, this is what I've seen in the press, so it's not like, because people are making up all these numbers. She was making about 80, but then you have to reinvest when you're doing that kind of sales stuff, because you need the product to give it away to sell it. So she was doing this, and by the way, she was very good at it. I mean, some of people were criticizing, oh, that's all, you know, she talks about, hi guys. That's what she was doing, and she was good at it. And, you know, it's just, to me, I have to tell you, when I heard Ronnie say that, I thought he put that thought deep into Chris's head, the money problem. Now think about this. Chris was already feeling the weight from having claimed bankruptcy before. Shannan might have liked to spend money a little bit. You know, she was not skimping where she sent her children to school. She was not skimping on the home she wanted to live in. And she was working toward, you know, paying for all this stuff. Unfortunately, when a guy gets under the curve like that, energetically, he was already feeling the bankruptcy. And now he was going to have, according to his father's buzz in his ear, you're going to have another 3 kids to pay for. And what do you think that'll look like? So his wheels are turning of like his 60 or 70 is suddenly going down to, think about this. He's going to have to pay for the house, at least most of it. He's going to have to pay for his children. And, you know, what's going to happen there? You're going to be looking at half, maybe a little more of his income going to raise that family. And that baby wasn't even born. Hi, Gavin. I can't, you know, I love my dogs so much. Hi, sweet pea. I can't imagine killing your child. I mean, I can't imagine taking my dog and hurting him in any way. I mean, so you have to remember that what was set in Chris's head is he wanted out. But, you know, we know as reasonable adults, it's kind of like, what? Like, why would you do that? But going back now, let's look at his mom. You know, one of the things that really struck me about the difference between, you know, Cindy Watts and Shannan's mother was, whoa. Now, something interesting, because some people made the comment, because Shannan was originally Shannan, right? And she changed it to Shannan. And, you know, some people would go, you know, because I've had friends who are like, you know, one day their name is like, you know, Susan. The next day they're like, I'm now Rainbow. You know, it's like, okay, Rainbow, you know, but I know you as Susan, you know, it's like, okay. But her mother, Shannan's mother, called her Shannan. she honored that. So, you know, a lot of the things that I see from that mother, from Shannan's mother, and from Chris's mother are so diametrically, energetically opposed. Now, they both have these perfect husbands for them, right? But Shannan she intimated that she had been in challenging relationships prior. And I think for her, and I think any woman who's like a go-getter, type A, blah, 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 once she gets a beta guy, it's really hard if he's trying to be the alpha, if he's trying, and so you get Chris, who's gone over to this woman who he's feeling like an alpha around. So you've got like him discovering that. Now let's look at Cindy Watts for a minute. When she was talking about it, there was something really strange. I mean, she teared up a few times, but she was, Owen, sorry, I've got two dogs. Come here, Gabby, come here. So my older dog barks at the puppy. So, when we look at Cindy Watts, I got to be honest with you, my eyes would be out to here. If my son, when she was talking about, well, he might as well have gone to court and, gone for the death penalty because he's never going to be put to death in Colorado. I mean, what is she thinking? Like, I would be thinking, oh my God, what happened to my son? Like, I understand that there's evidence and I see it, but I can't believe it. Like, think about how you would respond, right? And when you're watching Cindy Watts, she's going, well, Owen, come here, Gabby, come on. I've got to get Gavin out of there. He's going to be like barking the whole time. Come here, buddy. Come up and sit with me. Come up. Come on, you sit down over here. So what I'm thinking about Cindy Watts is that, now look, we all mourn differently. Oh, he pulled the plug out. So hold on, guys. Light is coming back. There it is. Okay, sit down, Gav. So what I'm thinking about Cindy Watts is that you absolutely have to look at, how she just responded. I mean, and what does that tell you about her son? She, like, yeah, we flew out there and what, your grandchildren were just found murdered, like dead in a freaking vat of like oil. All right. We can see some of the things that led up to Chris doing this, but what I would be sitting there thinking, what kind of son did I raise? Like, this is not the person I knew. And I mean, I would be sitting there going, I can't believe it. Like, my grandchildren, and I would even admit, I would say, I didn't love his wife, but killing her, like I've been hearing what he did. And she was saying, if that's true, girl, they had his confession. They had, he killed Shannan. He even said it. And you are not mentioning once the shock of finding this woman in a fetal position, dead, in dirt. I mean, this is your daughter-in-law. I'm sorry, but I'm just going to say it, P.O.S. She is a piece of shiitake, all right? I can't imagine what kind of person. So when we look at Cindy Watts, we have to say she created a psychopath. And when we look at what she talked about, the way she talked about him, oh, Chris was good at this, we gave him this, he got this, this kid got everything he wanted, everything he said he wanted, he got. Not only did he get it, Shannan was the first time he ever did or got something that was not exactly what his mother wanted. So, this woman, like, there's something between this son and this mother. I mean, to not say, I would be going, what did I do wrong? I would be thinking that. I mean, I think it's kind of normal to have that process of like, what did I do wrong? Like, what did I miss? What am I not seeing? And I would also be saying, I wonder if my negativity toward his wife contributed to this. I mean, and then I go back to, and I really have to tell you all, I sit up at night, and I'm not kidding. I don't know why my heart is so pouring out to this, but I have to tell you what came through to me today about what's going on with Shannan right now. I don't like to read people that aren't in the room with me, to be honest with you. I don't really like that. But I want to tell you the energy I'm picking up from Shannan. And I think this is really, this is totally just an energy that I'm feeling. And so I'm going to share it with you. I really feel that what's coming through me is just, I can feel just from, being so close to all this, I can feel her screaming. Like she's so shocked and angry and sick at the same time. Like I just feel this energy of like what? Like how could he do this to me? Like she is, and beyond that, it's beyond even verbalizing. The energy that I'm feeling from her is utter shock and terror. It's like she is so shocked and she's furious about it. Can you imagine? Think about this for a minute. The minute you leave your body, right? You leave your body. And I'm not going to get into all that stuff. And I remember, right, when my father died, the night before he died, he was laying in bed, and I went to see him in the hospital. And I'm looking at him like this, and he was looking at me, and then he'd go like this. And being intuitive, I was like, see light coming, right? So I'd like, oh, no, you don't see that. You don't see that. So I pulled him back. So what he was seeing was the angels coming for him, right? And so what I feel, and again, this is just my own, this has nothing to do with anybody asking me. This is what I'm feeling. And this is my intuition on this. As she was being killed, she looked up and saw her children. You see, they were right there. They had already left. She couldn't even scream because she was looking at them. Now, I wish I had known the expression on her face, because that would tell you, a lot of times you see, and I don't want to see it, believe me, but a lot of times when people die, you can see in their face what was going on. Like my father, the next morning when he died and I went to see him before they took him away, he had a peaceful look on his face. He was peaceful, and people die. Like my dad, I know he didn't want me to see that. And so, the fact is that when I look at this energetically, it's like when she was dying, when he was pulling her spirit out, and part of my energetic feel of why she didn't fight was because she was trying to save her children that were right there. See, she wasn't thinking of her own life as it was being, because what happens is as you start to leave, and I've had a near-death experience, right? So you actually start to leave your body. And when I left my body, I was seeing light. I was seeing the angels. And I was seeing, when my dad was dying, I was seeing that. So what I felt was, because people were like, she didn't fight. I think what happened as she was being pulled out of her body was she saw her kids, because they had to be right there. They had to be mommy, mommy, mommy. They were right there. They were feet from where she died, right? Where she was murdered. And the thing is, truth bumps, you see, which child bit her tongue? Which child was fighting? That's the one that is haunting him in prison. So I want to say that to you. This man is being visited by one of the kids. And I know he's like feeling this because she is just so angry because she understood it. I'm feeling like it's Bella because everybody kept saying, oh, Bella was so sweet. She was just like me. I feel that she is so angry, and the anger that he felt for himself, he projected onto her, and she's angry at him. There's this, I think that we all have agreements with family, and I don't want to get into, because believe me, there's no excuse for killing a child. I'm not trying to say that at all. But when we look at Cindy Watts, and she teared up a little bit about her sweet grandchildren that she left peanuts out when one had a severe nut allergy. I mean, this is a woman who said to Shannan, oh, she has to learn sometime. And it's like, really, Cindy? Like, now she's crying about them. So it's kind of like her callousness and her kind of cavalier attitude toward another type A woman, another alpha woman. She's going to fight with that woman because they're both alpha, right? And they're going to fight like crazy because she needed the control. And so what do you think Chris grows up with? He grows up with the control of his mother, right? That control. And she's going to go, oh, I didn't control him. I gave him everything he wanted. And then he marries this woman who he starts to, of course, he's attracted to it, right? He's attracted to his mother. But he starts to see that she is going to make success of their life. Chris didn't really want any of that. And what he wanted was stuff he didn't know. He was constantly handed things. And every time, like, he supposedly wanted to be I want to say not a pit boss, but somebody who does repairs, mechanic in a pit during races and stuff. Forgive me for not having the right terminology. But that's what he supposedly wanted, and he gave it all up to be with Shannan. So, when we look at what people want and finding who they are again, and I think that, truthfully, I think that if Chris had the maturity to reach out and say to Shannan, listen, I need to find myself again. I need to be going to races. I need to be looking at race museums. I need someone that shares my interests too. It wasn't just the Steelers. It was other things. I mean, everything he did around his family, he was trying to get away from them. And honestly, I think he married Shannan also to get away from his type A mother. So these are some things and thoughts that are coming forward to me. And, the reasoning that Shannan didn't fight, in my kind of intuition on that. And I'm feeling her incredible sadness over the children. Like, she energetically, I just feel this rain of sadness. And I don't think, sometimes, and I've seen this, sometimes souls leave and they can't quite leave, right? They're still kind of like in that middle space. I think she's in shock, and I think she's just coming to the sadness. And honestly, as the thoughtlessness around Cindy wanting a long trial, we should have gone to trial and he should have been tried for the death penalty. Why would you want the death penalty for your child? I mean, what is that? So you could be center stage more and be the mother who is trying to help. What is that? And I also want to shout out to Shannan's mother and just say how lovely she was. And she she actually introduced Nicole and Shannan. And, I just feel like there's this bond of women on Shannan's side. And I really want to say that it was these women that pushed him into forward in a way that he wasn't ready for. I think he knew about the camera also, and I know I can go on about other stuff, but he knew the camera was there. But he thought if he pulled his truck into the garage, he wouldn't be seen. Well, he was seen, okay? And he was seen doing things that were not, let's say, normal. All right. And really, I just want to say a prayer for Nicole Atkinson and just say, God bless you. And, more women in the world like you who are these powerful women who say, no, I know something's wrong. This is the kind of person that I want as a friend and that I want to be in this world. Someone who's not afraid to speak up, not afraid to say, hey, wait a minute. No, you need to come. Okay. And, I really want to also say that these men, these police officers believed her. They knew right away, I'm getting truth bombs. They knew right away this woman was telling the truth. She was not full of shite. She was saying what was up in her son. I'm just so impressed with this woman and how she handled this. And I want to really remind everybody that Nicole is the real hero. She's the real catalyst. She loved Shannan. And I really want to say that having a friend like that, if you have one person in your life like that, you are blessed. And Shannan had a lot of those people. And I think that's what's so shocking to many of us is that, you know, this guy who Shannan said she adored, I really feel it was like it was kind of ripping away slowly, and Shanann didn't know what to do. I don't think she was as dedicated to him as she thought. I think she was more dedicated to the children and to creating this life for them. Because the truth is that I didn't see him being as a big help. I don't know that he was or wasn't. I'm going to be honest. I just feel there's this thing about him that felt passive aggressive. And I felt that in everything he did. Like she would say to him, like, go get this, and he would leave it behind. And I think things like that are kind of like, you take care of it, mommy. So I want to leave this on a note of looking at Shannan's mom and Nicole and the women of this case, who are the ones who really I want to honor as well. Because I think we really do, and I think law enforcement was thanked. And I think we need to really, I want to hold Nicole Atkinson up and say, you know what? You are the reason he's behind bars. And even the cops said it, although it didn't come out much. She acted fast. So when you think something's wrong, act fast. Like, it's so much easier to say, I'm sorry, than to say, oh my gosh, I didn't do anything. So on that note, God bless you, Nicole Atkinson. God bless you, Nicole's family. Chris Watts, I feel sorry for him. I know I shouldn't. I just think, oh my gosh, like when he kept saying in every interview, he kept saying, I just want them back. I think he was trying to take away what he did, and he couldn't. He couldn't erase his actions. And I don't think that's forgivable, but I do think that it's pitiful. And I have no love lost with him. I have this sick fascination of like, what the F? God bless you, Nicole Atkinson. May you just be peaceful and in love and have wonderful things happen in your life this year. And Shannan, may she just be your guardian angel as she wants to be. And thank you for what you've done for Shannan. And thanks everybody for listening. I know I've gone on, but it's really something to me that, my own fascination with certain true crime and my own past with certain experiences. So just let's not forget the heroic actions of Nicole Atkinson. Okay, everyone. God bless. Thanks for listening.